Was it the wellness account again? The one that says you can manifestation journal your way out of a broken leg?
Close. It was this viral hustle culture post. It basically said that if you're struggling with your mental health, you just aren't grinding hard enough or you're not aligned with the universe. It was so clinical, so cold. And I just thought, this is exactly how Job felt listening to Zophar.
Oh, 100%. We are back, everyone. Welcome to Bible in a Year, making it easier to understand. I'm John, the guy who likes to find the modern mirror for these ancient and sometimes very spicy words.
And I'm Stephanie, and I handles the heart and the research. Today, we are diving into Job chapters 12, 13, and 14. And guys, if you've ever felt like the laughing stock of your social circle because you're going through a hard time, this episode is for you.
Man, the energy in chapter 12 it's high-key savage. We've had 11 chapters of these three friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, basically giving Job a PowerPoint presentation on why his life is a dumpster fire. They're using what scholars call the system. It's that simple math. Good people get the clout and the cash, and bad people get canceled by God.
Right, and Job has finally reached his limit. He's tired of being the faulty tasker in their eyes. So he opens chapter 12 with the most legendary bit of sarcasm in the whole Bible. John, read verse 2 for us.
No doubt you are the people, and wisdom will die with you. I mean, come on. That is the ancient version of saying, oh, I didn't realize I was talking to the CEO of Facts and Logic.
It really is. He's basically saying, you guys think you've got a monopoly on wisdom, but you're actually just repeating basic common sense that even my dog understands. He's calling out their basic theology. He says in verses 7 and 8, ask the beasts, and they will teach you, the birds of the heavens, and they will tell you. Even the fish in the sea know that God is the one who holds the life of every living thing.
It's such a burn because his friends think they're being so deep and intellectual. But Job is pointing out that their system is actually a step below what the animals know. A bird doesn't have a grind set. A donkey doesn't wonder if its suffering is a result of not praying enough. They just exist under God's hand. Job is saying, you're trying to be clinicians, but you've missed the most obvious reality of God's power.
And that power is what Job spends the rest of the chapter describing. He moves from sarcasm to this massive, sweeping discourse on God's sovereignty. But here's the kicker, John. Unlike his friends, Job doesn't describe God as a safe or predictable vending machine. He describes God as a force that tears things down.
Yeah, look at verse 14. If he tears down, none can rebuild. If he shuts a man in, none can open. This is what I call conscious unbossing by the Creator. Job is looking at the world and seeing that God isn't following the rules his friends made up. He sees kings being stripped of their power and judges being made into fools. In our world, it's like seeing a billionaire lose their entire aura overnight because of one market shift.
It's a reality check. He's saying that God is so big that he pours contempt on princes. He doesn't care about our clout or our verified status. If he wants to make a leader wander in a trackless waste like they're drunk, he does it. And Job is using this to tell his friends, your little proverbs about how life should work are cute, but they are proverbs of ashes compared to the raw, unsearchable power of God.
It's that Gen Z stare moment. Job is just looking at them, unimpressed. He's saying, I also have a mind. I am not inferior to you. He's refusing to be ghosted by the truth of his own experience. He knows his life is a mess, but he also knows that God is the one who uncovers the deeps out of darkness. He's holding out for a deeper answer than just try harder.
I think that's so important for us today. We live in a world of confirmation-biased clinicians. Everyone has a diagnosis for why your life isn't perfect, but Job is teaching us to look at the scale of God. If the God who shuts and opens the gates of nations is the one holding your life, then your friend's judgment is, well, it's irrelevant.
Exactly. It's about getting out of the system and getting into the sovereignty. But man, wait until we get to chapter 13. Job gets even more direct. He basically tells his friends they are doing spiritual medical malpractice. He calls them worthless physicians.
Ooh, I can't wait to dive into that. It's such a red flag moment in their friendship. But before we get there, we need to take a quick breather.
Yeah, let's grab some water. When we come back, we're going to look at the modern mirror of this courtroom drama and see why Job is ready to shoot his shot with God himself. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Seriously, though, we're moving into the modern mirror of Job 12 through 14. And guys, this is where the ancient text hits the 21st century like a ton of bricks. Stephanie, let's talk about the system. In the corporate world, what does that look like when things go wrong?
Oh, it's that soul-crushing HR policy where everything is a math equation. It's the A plus B equals C logic we mentioned. In a modern office, if you're not hitting your KPIs, the experts in the corner office don't ask if you're okay. They just assume you're a faulty tasker. They look at your system and say, well, if you just worked 12 to 14 hours like we did in the 80s, you wouldn't be struggling.
Exactly. It's that out-of-touch energy. Job's friends are basically job-hugging their old-school theology. They're clinging to these rules because if the rules don't work, their whole world falls apart. So when they see Job suffering, they have to blame him. They become confirmation-biased clinicians. They aren't looking for the truth. They're just looking for a reason to keep their system safe.
It's so basic, right? It's like when someone sees a friend going through a stump season, maybe a breakup or a job loss, and instead of bringing over a pizza, they send a link to a 5 Steps to a Better You podcast. Job calls that smearing lies. In modern terms, it's like putting a Paris filter on a photo of a literal house fire. It doesn't fix the fire. It just makes the person who took the photo feel better.
That is fire, Steph. No cap. And look at how Job reacts in chapter 13. He calls them worthless physicians. Think about that modern mirror. Have you ever gone to a doctor because your heart was heavy and they just told you to get more sun or drink more kale juice? It's clinical malpractice of the soul. Job is saying, you're trying to heal a wound you haven't even looked at because you're too busy checking your own clout as a wise person.
It's a total red flag in a relationship. When the person you're talking to is more interested in being a main character of wisdom than actually listening to you. Job is essentially conscious unbossing from their friendship. He's saying, I don't report to your rules anymore. I'm acting my wage with this conversation, and frankly, you guys aren't paying me enough in respect for me to keep listening.
He really is. He's ready to shoot his shot with God directly. He says, I would speak to the Almighty, and I desire to argue my case with God. That is such a bold move. It's like bypassing the middle management of religious experts and walking straight into the CEO's office. He knows the system is rigged, so he's going to the only one who can actually rebrand his life.
But then we get to chapter 14, and the mirror shifts to something so much deeper, the hope of a tree. John, you mentioned the glow-up of the stump. Imagine a creator whose channel gets canceled or a business that goes bankrupt. Everything is cut down. It looks like a total waste of makeup, as some might say.
But then, the scent of water. I love that phrase. It's not even a full rainstorm. It's just the smell of hope. In the modern mirror, that's that one LinkedIn DM that leads to a new opportunity, or that tiny spark of a new idea when you thought you were done. Job says that even if the stump is dying in the dust, at that first whiff of water, it comes to life and grows like a sapling.
It's a hard launch of a new season. But then Job asks the question that every millennial and Gen Z person has stayed up at night wondering, if a man dies, shall he live again? He's looking at the tree and thinking, the tree gets a glow up, but do I? Am I just a land flood that dries up and vanishes?
That's the existential dread right there. The feeling that we're just bare minimum creatures in a trackless waste. But here's the hidden gem in the Hebrew for that verse. Job says he will wait for his change. The word is khalifa. And guys, this is so cool. It's a military term for relief from guard duty.
Wait, like when you've been on a 12-hour shift and your relief finally shows up?
Exactly. Job is saying, I'm standing my post in this warfare of suffering. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And I'm acting my wage in the dirt. But I'm waiting for the relief to come. In our modern world, it's that moment when you can finally log off for good because the project is done and you're going home. He's hoping for a glow-up that isn't just a better life here, but a whole new state of being.
That's so powerful. It's the opposite of quiet quitting on God. It's patient expectation. Even when the worthless physicians are gaslighting you, even when your aura feels like it's completely gone, you stay at your post because you know the CEO has a desire for the work of his hands.
He yearns for us. No cap. He's not a toxic boss looking to catch your missteps. He's a father waiting for the glow up He already planned for you. He's got your digital archive saved, and he's just waiting for the scent of water to bring you back.
I think we all need to log off for a second and just sit with that. The idea that we are more than the system says we are.
Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to hit segment 3, the core and the outro. We're going to talk about why Job's sarcastic sovereignty is actually the key to keeping your sanity in a chaotic world. Stay fire. We'll be right back. And we are back. If you're just joining us, Stephanie and I are knee-deep in Job's courtroom drama. We've had sarcasm, we've had worthless physicians, and now we're hitting the botanical part of the show. Steph, talk to me about this tree.
Okay, so imagine this. You're walking in the woods and you see a dead stump. I mean, it is jagged, it is gray, it's basically just a piece of trash sitting in the dirt. You'd probably say it's a total waste of makeup for that tree to even exist, right? It's over.
Oh, for sure. It's got zero aura left. It's a basic piece of timber. It fell off, as the kids say. No one is looking at that stump and thinking, hey, that's going to be a viral success story next year.
Exactly. But Job, even in his absolute lowest moment, looks at that stump and sees something we don't. He says in verse 7, "For there is hope for a tree, if it be cut down, that it will sprout again." And then he says something that honestly gives me chills every time I read it. He says that even if the root grows old and the stump dies in the soil, at the scent of water, it will bud.
Wait, the scent? Like, it doesn't even need a full monsoon? It just needs to smell the moisture in the air and it starts a glow up?
Yes, that's the hidden gem here. It's about the tiniest hint of hope causing a total hard launch of new life. But then, and this is why Job is so relatable, he turns the camera back on himself. He looks at his own failing body, his lost family, and he asks the big question in verse 14. If a man dies, shall he live again?
That's the one? That's the question that lives rent-free in everyone's head, no cap. We see the trees come back. We see the seasons shift. But for us, it feels so final. Job is feeling like a land flood that just dries up and disappears. He's worried he's just bare minimum. And then, poof, account deleted.
He's struggling because his system, that rigid A plus B equals C theology we talked about, doesn't have an answer for life after death. But John, you were telling me about that Hebrew word he uses for change. That's the key, right?
Oh, it is the fire of this chapter. In verse 14, he says he will wait for his change. In Hebrew, that's Khalifa. And guys, this isn't just like changing your clothes. This is a military term. It refers to the relief of a sentry who has been standing guard for a grueling 12-hour shift in the middle of a storm.
I love that. So it's like, my shift is over. Someone else is taking over the watch, and I can finally go home and rest.
Precisely. It's the ultimate conscious unbossing from the warfare of life. Job is saying, I am standing my post in this stump season. I'm hurting. I'm being gaslit by my friends. I feel like I'm acting my wage in the ashes. But I am waiting for my Khalifa. I'm waiting for the CEO of the universe to call my name and tell me my shift is done.
And that leads to verse 15, which is so intimate. He says, "You shall call, and I shall answer. You shall have a desire for the work of your hands." The word desire there, it's not just God checking a box. It's God longing for his child. He wants us back in the group chat of heaven.
It's a total green flag for God's character. He's not ghosting us in the grave. He's watching over every step. And I love what Job says next. He says God won't even keep track of his missteps. That is a level of grace that Zophar and the boys couldn't even imagine. They were all about the paper trail of Job's sins, but God is about the digital archive of Job's soul.
So, if you're listening today and you feel like that dead stump, if you feel like your career has fell off or your mental health is just a bare minimum Monday every single day, remember the scent of water. Jesus is that tender shoot from the stump that Isaiah talks about. He is the Khalifa. He took the ultimate shift on the cross so that our change would be a glow up into eternal life.
No cap. The text message summary for today. You have more hope than a tree. Don't let the worthless physicians of this world define your worth. You are rent-free in God's heart, and your relief is already on the schedule.
Action step for this week. Go find a plant. Even if it's just a sad little succulent on your desk, look at it and remember that the God who makes that bud at the scent of water is the same God who is yearning to bring new life to your story. Don't give up on the stump season.
Let's close it out. Father, thank you that you aren't a toxic boss keeping a spreadsheet of our failures. Thank you that you desire us. For the person who feels cut down today, let them smell the water. Let them feel the relief of your presence. Amen.
Amen. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We know Job is heavy, but man, the hope is so real when you look past the sarcasm.
We'll see you in the next chapter. Keep your aura high and your faith higher. Peace.